Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to have an interest in learning about what your middle schooler is using to learn math this year. So, we're going to talk about the individualized digital learning plan. That was the most received votes from our caregivers in terms of what you were interested in hearing about. This is our new middle school resource. So we are implementing this for the first time this fall with our mathematicians in 6-8. And we're excited to learn about it. Our teachers started learning about it in the spring, did some more learning before the school year started, and are now in the first couple of months of this. And we wanted to bring you all into the fold of this journey together to support your students in math. A little bit about who I am talking to. I'm the district-wide math coordinator. I have had the privilege of spending the most of my career as a principal here in Sun Prairie, actually. So at Northside Elementary for 8 years. Prior to that, was a high school math teacher in Sun Prairie. I'm a graduate of Sun Prairie schools. And I have a family that you can see in the middle there. So 3 students, one that just graduated from the Sun Prairie schools, and 2 that are still in it, a 3rd grader and a junior this year. Um, and this is my 3rd year in this role. So now I get to do this incredible work with the educators in this picture who were part of our steering committee that selected iReady as the resource to support your learners in learning math in 6th through 8th grade. So little bit about who I am and speaking with you today. A big part of my heart as well as an educator is community schools, and that really is related to partnering with caregivers. And so I am really excited that we have people on the call tonight. I had people reach out that said they couldn't make it but want to see a video of it. So I appreciate your time and your interest in learning about this together. So let's start out just to tell you a little bit about iReady Classroom Mathematics and what it includes. Our students have taken a diagnostic assessment. So that's a digital learning platform where they shared all of what they know about different math skills. That's sort of a starting point for our students. It's going to really serve them and that digital experience we'll talk more about and sort of feed what that system is giving your students. It also gives our teachers a lot of information about what your students know, and then that helps to support them in small group and lessons that they can work with your students around. They also have student workbooks in the classroom. So you may have heard students talking about that. And then they have their digital experience, which we're going to spend the bulk of our time talking about this evening and what that all includes, because there are a couple things in that. So when they're in class, again, they have that workbook piece. They also have supplemental work pages that they might be using for fluency. They have lessons that have a cyclical nature every week. So they'll start with introducing themselves for the week to a new topic and really building prerequisite skills for the students. And then they'll dig into some development days that week. And they'll always close with a refine day where they can really practice and reinforce the new learning of that lesson. And then they also have their online component. And so we're going to spend time talking about and showing you how to get into your student's account or giving you a student demo account that you can dig into to see what those interactive tools look like, to see the learning games that they can access, and really think about how this online learning tool is helping to build the skills that your students need, whether to support grade level instruction teachers are assigning or develop some of the skills potentially that are still yet unlearned from previous grade levels. So you can access your students' iReady account with them. They can go to MySP, log in so they can access iReady through Clever. So if your student is with you or after this, if you want to have them show you how they log into iReady, that's a great way for you to see some of this and learn more about it. We also have demo accounts. So if you want to follow along tonight, you are welcome to go to demo.iready.com. This is a very specific login, so you can go with your student's login by grade level if you want to get access to the text on your own. So the personalized instruction is really based on that fall assessment that your students took. Um, it's really going to use that to see what your students already know, and it's going to go back into elementary grade level learning skills and standards to see what they need to work on, and it's going to build from there and develop your students' personalized learning path. This is something that when we look at the digital side of things, the personalized instruction that's adaptive and works with your student is not their classwork. It's not what they have in their workbook. It's a separate place for them to practice, both on grade level and teacher assigned things, but also through My Path is going to really be those skills that students still need to work on and targeting individual needs that they have based on that diagnostic that they took. In about a month, you're going to hear your student getting ready to take that diagnostic again. And that helps to just reassess and make sure that the computer has the most fresh data around what your learner can do and also gives, again, information to the teacher. We use that not only for their digital practice, but it also gives teachers a lot of information about what students know and helps them to support small group work. And again, our students access all of this right through Clever. So why we like using some of this information, again, it's something that is adaptive and helps students specifically with where they're at. So when students are able to spend time doing some of this digital learning, everyone can be online and all of their questions can look different. Um, it allows our teachers also, like I said, to assign different things that they can do that support the lessons that they are learning in the classroom. So, in addition to that workbook practice, they can also do some digital learning that supports that. And it also gives students direct and immediate feedback. So, when everyone's working on different questions, if they're getting something wrong, it's going to provide some support for them, which really is nice when students are doing the individual practice and the teacher's working with a small group. If they get something wrong or they get stuck on something, they're going to get some steps that support them along the way. One other piece I want to share with you are the digital tools we're going to see when we go in there. These are going to be similar to manipulatives that they might see in the classroom. And I'll show you what some of those look like that your students can access and that you'll see on their account as well. But these are there and ready for students to use when they're at home and they don't have those manipulatives there. And also often mirror what some of our standardized assessments have for those e-tools that students are in need of navigating to do some of this learning. There's also learning games that they have. Some of these pictures probably look a little more like their elementary topics. iReady does cover kindergarten through 8th grade. And so you can see some of these. We're going to log into iReady Pro, which is what your learners are looking at and getting access to. And that just came out this fall and looks more middle school friendly. But they do still have access to learning games, and that really helps them to practice some fluency pieces. Teachers can turn this on and off for students as well, but that's an opportunity they have to do some gamified learning. Okay, let's see if this one works. We're going to look at iReady Pro, and again, you can see that this display looks different than just that last image there. This is the 6.8 version that they just released this fall that our students are using. And so this background here this is exactly what your students are seeing. So we're going to take a look to learn a little bit more about what iReady Pro looks like and does for your students. So I'm going to share this tab instead and hit play.
Success in middle and high school is so important, but it can be challenging.
The biggest difference is definitely like the work and the level of work that you'll have to do.
It's a lot different because you kind of have to learn to act differently and grow up.
iReady Pro is a first of its kind digital learning experience designed specifically for older students.
It's designed for middle schoolers. It's attractive to middle schoolers. It has content that they're interested in, which it's difficult to find resources for middle school like that.
iReady Pro precisely identifies students' needs and delivers just right instruction to help them master grade level content quickly. For students who need it, essential lessons teach the most important skills from earlier grade levels.
It's things that students will hopefully know by the time that they get to you, but of course with COVID and the fact that everybody learns at a different pace, that they don't always reach.
Lessons adapt based on how students do, so they only get the content they need. And instruction is grounded in proven practices for building foundational skills delivered in an age-appropriate way.
They're already feeling behind their peers. They can still catch up and not feel like they're totally different than everybody else.
There's not as many cartoon pictures and bright colors because it's easier to focus on what you need to be doing.
Elevate lessons immerse students in grade level concepts, offering optional supports to strengthen understanding and deepen learning.
This really opens up different ideas for them and different concepts for them.
It'll also take students who do understand the skill and elevate them to a higher grade level.
Along the way, students have visibility into their learning and can customize their experience.
Teenagers are all over that, being able to personalize. It allows them to really see what they need to learn and then what they need to do to grow. They'll be shown, what they're good at, what they've accomplished, and what they still need to do.
iReady Pro delivers exactly what older students need to succeed, helping them feel empowered, capable, and confident.
iReady Pro brings more to young adults.
It seems more professional and definitely targeted to like people around our age.
They're constantly getting exactly what they need to move forward.
All right, so wanted to just give you a little bit of a preview of what that looks like. Potentially you've already been on to see what your students' dashboard does appear like for them. And we are going to log into a demo account to dig a little bit further so that when you go into your student's account that you can navigate it a little more easily. So let's go ahead and I am going to go back here. So if you wanted to, again, follow along, you can go to this site. And again, I will share this out with the recording. When you click on or you go to that hyperlink, or when you click on that and put that in there, you will get to a page that has you fill out that login. You are going to need that very specific information that I will also share with you to log in. When you log in, then you are going to have the option. iReady has both reading and math, and we're going to take a look at math. That's what we use iReady for. So this is the dashboard for your students. There's always going to be the home button here, or it's going to show up at the right if you want to come back to it. And this is where you can see My Path, which is going to be based on that diagnostic assessment that your student takes. And that's going to give them skill building around those standards and skills that they have not yet learned. So these are things where if you have a sixth grader and they have some fourth grade standards that they are still struggling with, this is going to go back into those grade levels where they need practice and support them in that learning. So it's going to be very individualized. Everybody in the classroom, when we walk in and are observing this, could very well look different based on what those needs are. So that's My Path, with their practicing each week. And then there's also an opportunity for teachers to assign things digitally in here. And so students would get notified and it would show up right here if teachers are saying, hey, let's do some digital practice based on some of the learning in the classroom that we're doing as well. So that would show up there. There is a tour button here to kind of walk you through what some of these pieces are, which is what I'm showing you. The bookshelf here is, again, when you go in and you log into the very specific grade level with this demo account, you can see your student's book here. So it's going to load the ebook. And so you could go and say, okay, right now, my learner I ask them, what lesson are you guys in? And like, oh, we're multiplying and dividing with negative numbers. So you can really navigate the text here. The family letter is always the beginning of each lesson. And so that's something our teachers have been sharing with you. So you probably already received this via email, each lesson. But then you can navigate this by going to the next page and talk with your students about what they're learning and what they've been practicing, and you can see exactly what that looks like and what's been happening. So the bookshelf is a nice place to access that quickly, and your students as well. The math tools is, again, these are the online digital manipulatives that students can use. So if they're looking for a graphing calculator, they can easily click on this, type in an equation, and it's going to graph for them. So those are very quick digital tools that they have access to on their digital resource here in their dashboard. The learning games. So you can click on these to see what those look like, or have your student play one as you watch and see what that looks like for them. Another piece here is the Family Center. So if I click on that, it's going to open up into an iReady website that has all kinds of resources for families. And so if you go here, you can talk a little bit more and learn about your student's math program, how to support learning at home, and then frequently asked questions. So that's a great spot for you to be. In order to learn a little bit more about iReady. There are some tips here about how to talk and build math at home, what to ask about their day's learning. So that's in the Family Center that's on your student's dashboard here. The other thing I want to show you here is their stats. And so this is their progress. And so you're going to have numbers here. You're going to see that they've completed lessons, what streak they're on. And if you click on My Progress, it'll show you further what the time on task has been. So how much time have they spent this week working on this digital learning? That's something you can take a peek at. And then if you click on completed work, that's going to really go deep into what they have been practicing. It's also going to show you if they are doing a lesson and they've had a hard time with it. In the writing here, it's going to say that they retried it. And so that's just an important piece. It's something that our teachers can use and know that students are feeling stuck and may need some support, but also for you as a parent, you could see something that they had to potentially try multiple times to be able to find success. So those are some good things that you probably want to check out when you do log in with your student. And again, I can always get back to that home button, to this larger dashboard. And your students can click in here and show you all of the things that they're working on in their My Path and their digitally assigned teacher stuff. And you can check progress by clicking My Progress. So how much time do we want students using their iReady Pro, so that adaptive practice based on their diagnostic? iReady recommends that students are using about 45 minutes each week. And so teachers are building that in sometimes to the classroom. Students might be doing some of that outside of school, but really that sweet spot is about 45 minutes a week. Some things that have come up for us as we have just gotten started with this tool, some students really like it and are spending lots of time on it. It's really meant to be used this 45 minutes per week. So if that's something that you're finding with your own child, that they're loving digital learning, math, we might want to talk about, hey, what are some other options? And your teacher might be a good resource for you to start with in terms of other online tools, free resources that they could use and try. And additionally, we know that some of our students, because this digital learning path goes through 8th grade standards, some of our students, especially as they get, into 8th grade, are going to end up finishing all of the lessons that iReady has. And so that's another great conversation to have with your child's teacher. what do we do when that happens, and how do we support that learner in continuing some digital learning to go deeper in their skills and knowledge in mathematics. But it is important for us to know that they're not doing all of their learning online. It really is meant to be a small piece of their weekly learning that they're doing on their digital practice. I'm going to leave this up here so that you can write this down if you want to check on it right now. And then see if we have any questions. You can feel free right now to unmute or just put it in the chat if you have questions or something you want us to go ahead and see if I can answer for you. Again, we are all learning this. It's a brand new resource. So you may come up with great questions that we'll reach back out to iReady to get answers for you and share that out with this recording. And as always, your teacher is the very best person for you to start with. But again, we're all learning this as we get started here. All right. As you want to continue to support your learner, again, going into that dashboard on a regular basis would be really a helpful way. Going into that bookshelf and reading about what this unit is going to be teaching your student. And then as well, going to that family center, there are also supports for you in thinking about discourse, how to get your students to talk about the math that they're learning, to prompt them and go a little bit deeper with some of that thinking. And so you can access all of those through your students account, and you'll also be able to see them through that demo account that I had up and that I will send back out to you. I'm going to stay on here. So if you have further questions, we can keep talking or I can take those questions. But I wanted to also remind you, based on your feedback, the next session in January is going to be talking about the instructional framework of iReady. So that try it, discuss it, connect it. Sorry for that typo in there. And then session 3 was math manipulative. So what are our students learning and using hands-on in the classroom to be able to support them in really developing strong math skills? You, again, I highly recommend continuing to reach out and connect with your classroom teacher. They are going to be closest to what your student is learning. We're going to continue to share at a high level around iReady and our implementation and partnership with you. So you can certainly contact me as well. And I really appreciate the time you took tonight to be engaged in this conversation. And I'm going to stay on here. So if you have questions you want to put in the chat or unmute, love to answer those or get answers for you. Otherwise, thank you so much for spending part of your evening with me.